world. Shelly here, and we are going to keep it rolling with the best of 2017, moving into the eye category. And I'm going to go with my top 5 in eyeshadow palettes, eyeliners, mascaras, and primers. And they will be listed from 5th place up to 1st place. These are not necessarily all products that came out in 2017, but they're things that I've reached for over and over again, my Stranded on a Desert Island products. Let's kick it off with primers, since I only have 2 favorites. And in 2nd place, we have the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion. This is the anti-aging version. It is just a nice sort of eyeshadow primer, doe foot applicator. Works really well, does a little bit of color correcting if you have anything on your lids that needs to be evened out, but it's not super camouflaging, which is why my number 1 is from MAC. It is the Paint Pot in Painterly, and the reason I like this is because not only does it even out the skin tone on my eyelids, but it covers up, like, my eyelids are kind of like transparent and you can see like blood vessels through them. It'll cover that all up, so if I'm not wearing a very dark eye look, this will still cover up all that craziness going on in my eyelids. Now, this is a shade Painterly, which is more cool toned. If you are a warm undertone, you're probably going to be looking for the MAC Paint Pot in Soft Ochre. I go Painterly because I have cool undertone to my skin and I love this stuff. I've been using this all year long and I'm almost out of it, but I bet I've still got a few months to go. So you get a lot for your buck and it's just good stuff. Next up, let's go eyeshadow palettes. Now for these, I did go with ones that were pretty much, for the most part, released in 2017 because, you know, there's always going to be like Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance. Yes, of course, that's one of my favorites. The Too Faced Chocolate Bonbons palette. I have go-to looks out of those palettes that I will always, always love and adore. The Lorac Mega Pro 2. Like, those are holy grail, we'll love them forever eyeshadow palettes. But I'm also kind of an eyeshadow palette collector. I'm kind of a junkie. I buy lots and lots of them. So when I come across palettes that I can get a great look out of, those are the ones I'm going to put in my favorites. And so that's what I'm going to do. So those 3 that I mentioned, the Lorac Mega Pro, really all the Lorac Pro palette. I love Lorac eyeshadow palettes in general. Their formula is one of my favorites. The Modern Renaissance, ABH, of course, Too Faced Chocolate Bonbons. Those are all primo palettes, but I'm going to do some of my newer loves for my top 5 of 2017. And in 5th place is a late entry to the game, and a surprise at that. This was on my no-buy list. It's the Too Faced Just Peachy Mattes. On the downside, it smells like friggin' peaches and I can't stand it. It's disgusting. I hate peaches. But on the upside, this has not only some beautiful shades if you want to do a matte look on its own, but this and the next palette are both what I consider to be utility palettes. They're mattes, and when you buy an eyeshadow palette that doesn't come with a lot of matte shades, this palette, the next palette, they're the utility palette that's going to go to bat for like the base of your eye, the foundation of your look. You know, when you buy an all shimmer palette, if you have hooded eyes like I do, you generally can't do shimmers in the crease and things like that, so you need matte shades. And this is a great utility palette for those sort of neutral to warm toned, sort of, you know, peachy reddish browns. They all work out of this palette, so it's a great utility palette. Blendable as heck, beautiful colors. You can even do beautiful looks on its own. I kept seeing people doing videos and I'd be like, oh, that eye look is gorgeous. What is that? And I would click the down bar and I'd say, oh, they're wearing this palette. Like, it struck me and I bought it and I've had just as much success with it. I love this one. In 4th place, another utility palette. It's the Kat Von D Shade and Light Eye Contour Palette. And again, this is all matte. There is a glimmer version of this palette, which I also love, but not enough to make it into the top 5. I do enjoy it quite a bit though. but this is one of those utility palettes, and I love how it's organized. So you've got your warm colors grouped here, you've got your cool colors grouped here, and then you've got your neutrals over here. So you can use that to help you put together an eye look. If you've got shimmers and things that are in a warm, neutral, or cool sort of palette, you can tell which grouping to use. Although, you know, there's no rules in makeup, you do you, boo. But I find it really helpful. It's a great layout. The formula, Kat Von D is my favorite eyeshadow formula of all times. Super blendable, super pigmented, super easy to work with. And these shades are just what you need if you've got like an all shimmer palette and you need to put together a complete eye look. You can't go wrong. In third place, another Kat Von D. This one was either loved or hated across the land, it seemed, but it's the Saint and Sinner eyeshadow palette. And I get it, it's a confusing palette to work with because the colors are sort of organized in a haphazard manner. The whole idea behind that is that this was designed based around the inspiration of like cathedral stained glass windows, and I get it, there's an artist's vision there, but the thing is, if you take a good look at this palette, it's really not unworkable the way it is. You can use every single one of these trios as is to create the base of an eye look. It's also usable, you know, if you put this all together, you've probably seen the pictures that people have depotted it and arranged it in like rainbow order, and then it looks gorgeous. It looks totally usable. So don't be put off by the fact that it seems kind of random in the layout. I love this palette. It has really made me sort of stretch my creative juices and do things that are a little bit outside the box for me. The packaging is of course amazing. It's got the mirrors on the side, which of course are kind of useless because they're so small, but gorgeous packaging, gorgeous artwork, gorgeous concept, gorgeous swatches. It's a beautiful, beautiful palette, and it's, you know, sometimes it's nice to be challenged, and I find it, you can do wearable looks, you can do extreme looks, you can do a lot with this. Just give it a chance. I love this palette. In second place is a recent find in the fall, but for the number of times I've used this palette, I've traveled with it several times. It is from BH Cosmetics. It's the Zodiac palette. Last I checked, it was out of stock, but it said that you could get notified for it to come back, which makes me think it's going to come back. It is limited edition, but I'm guessing they are going to restock it if they've got that on their website. Look at this beautifulness. It's got shimmers on the outside. The inner ring is all mattes that coordinate with the zodiac signs. It's not accurate to the colors for each sign, but whatever. And then in the center, you've got a highlight, and it's gorgeous. These colors are super pigmented, super blendable. I did an eye look and swatches. I will link that down below if you missed it. In love with this palette. If you can get your hands on it, I highly recommend it. It's so reasonable. I think the regular price is 21 bucks, but it's almost always on sale on their website. I think I paid 16. I mean, it's gorgeous and so easy to use and so much fun. Number one in my eyeshadow palettes for 2017. This was a surprise because this was also on my no buy. You see how good I am at no buys. I don't do no buys. It is from Morphe of all places. It's the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette. This has been made permanent, I believe. You can now get it at Ulta as well as on the Morphe website. And I mean, I just reach for it all the time. I think it's because it's really easy to use, and you can still go dark and smoky, you could still go pop of color, or you could go totally natural daytime kind of a look, and it's all in one palette. And some people will say, like, why do I need 12 colors that are almost identical? But I have found with this particular palette, not all the Morphe palettes give me this feeling, but this one in particular, the shades are well chosen so that you can look at it and see like, well, this one's got a little bit more red to it, or this one's a little bit more cool toned and that's a bit more warm toned. Like, you can distinguish between them enough that when you're putting a look together, it's helpful to have those subtle variations in the color when you just, you know, you're trying to put your finger on exactly what you need for a look. And this has been a great help for me. I reach for it even when I'm using other eyeshadow palettes and I'm like, I just need a transition with a little bit more red in it, or I need a little bit of a cooler tone. I grab this palette because they're all here. It's a great palette. They're smooth, blendable, easy to work with. You know, my favorite things in an eyeshadow palette. Are they as pigmented as something like a Kat Von D? No, they're not. But they're pigmented enough and I have no trouble with any of these. I've touched just about every shade in this palette at this point and they're all fantastic on me. I've had just nothing but great looks come out of this palette. You guys had requested some looks. I think I've got 2 videos of different looks out of this palette. I'll put them down below. I'll find those links, but I would grab it. It's reasonably priced for the amount of shadows and colors you get. I think it's $38 at Ulta, and this was my surprise hit of 2017. Love it. It's the do everything every day, easy kind of palette to work with. Next, let's move to eyeliners, and in 5th place, these might be more like shadow crayons, I don't know, but they are the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencils. I have this in the shade Milk, which is white, and the shade Black Bean, which is black. These are amazing as a base. So putting these down underneath your eyeshadow when you are trying to get either a deep dark smoky eye or a nice bright pop of color, they're fantastic, super creamy, super easy to work with, and once you let them dry down, they're totally smudge proof, budge proof. They stay in place, they hold your shadow in place, they're just great. In 3rd and 4th place, because I really can't separate the two, it is the Kat Von D Tattoo Liner in Trooper and the Physicians Formula Ultra 2-in-1, what's the official name? Eye Booster 2-in-1 Lash Boosting Serum Eyeliner in the shade Ultra Black, because the other one sucks. Ultra Black and this Kat Von D, this is a dupe for the Kat Von D. They are both brush tip. They are both matte finish liners. They are both gorgeous and totally pigmented and easy to apply. They're just identical. They really, really are. And I will continue to buy the Kat Von D even though it's more expensive, because I love Kat Von D and I support her brand and I support her and her veganism and her advocacy, and I love her. But most days I reach for this one because it's so much cheaper. And that's just that. That's the way it is. So in 2nd place, I discovered these fairly recently, but they're so good. It's the Maybelline Lasting Drama pencils. And these things are so freaking smooth. Like, oh, bam, I barely touched. Here's another one. Barely touching. Whoop, barely touching. I'm not even pressing. Do you see how I'm holding the pencil? They're phenomenal. They go on the waterline so easy. If you're a person that has trouble because you can't kind of hold your eyes like that very long and you can't stand to rub a pencil back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, you need barely any pressure to get these to lay down color. They lay it down opaque and beautifully, and they last really well in the waterline. So I went out and I got all the colors. I had purple. My sister-in-law borrowed it, and then she found out she had pink eyes, so I didn't want to take any chances. I threw it away, but I'm going to be picking it back up. I think I'm missing one color that I haven't found in stock yet. I don't think I got the black yet, but these things are so gorgeous and so easy to wear that, whoo, Nelly. My number 1 liner is what I use in my waterline. It is the 24/7 waterline pencil from Urban Decay. This is the sort of flesh-toned one, Walk of Shame. The one I use every single day is Legend. This is my 2nd pencil this year. It's almost gone. I have a backup already. It's just black. These are the only thing that will stay put on my tight line, my upper waterline, without transferring down to the bottom. They're easy to apply. They come off really, really quick. You know, you don't have to press really hard. Boop, boop, boop. Very easy. Like, you see how I'm holding it. I'm not... They're my favorite waterline pencils of all time. And finally, let's do mascara. In 5th place, I'm gonna give you the Benefit Roller Lash Mascara. This is not my favorite mascara of all time, but it is my favorite to wear when I am wearing my glasses. I don't wear my glasses very often, like during the day. I usually wear my contacts, but this has some curling to it, and I find that it really does. It keeps my lashes from hitting my glasses. And that sensation of my lashes hitting my glasses drives me nuts. I hate that sensation. So I'm very glad to wear this when I am wearing my glasses, because most mascaras do not hold a curl on my lashes. I have lashes that kind of stick straight out. They do not like to stay curled. This stuff will keep them curled. One of you guys mentioned in the comments that you use this after you curl your lashes to get the curl, and then you put something more volumizing or lengthening on, because that's the thing. It's not bold enough of a look for me. And I haven't tried that yet, but I'm going to, because that would be like nirvana. In fourth place, I am going with the L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise. The packaging's gorgeous. I put this in a side-by-side test with the Too Faced Better Than Sex, which clearly by the packaging it is attempting to dupe, and I thought they were complete dupes. They looked identical side-by-side on my eyes. Some people say it doesn't look anything like the Too Faced on them, but on me, excuse the clump, it totally looked identical. I could not tell which was which. I like a volumizing mascara that gives me some length. I prefer a brush like this, not pokey. I need something that's going to grab onto all my lashes and coat them. This is a beautiful mascara. What's not beautiful about this is one tube. If you use it every day, I get less than a month out of a tube of mascara. And the regular price of this, I think, is $12. My Marc Jacobs Velvet Noir lasted me 8 months of using it almost every single day last year. This is way more expensive than that if you add up how often you have to repurchase it. And it's not that good. I would much rather have my Marc Jacobs. So that's the downside of this. It dries out really, really quickly. And then you got to toss it and get a new one. I do have a couple backups of it. It's beautiful, but it's been beat. So I'm not going to buy any more backups of this, because in third place is the Maybelline Total Temptation. You get a very similar look out of this mascara. It has a very similar wand, but it does not dry out so quickly. When I did put this side by side with the Lash Paradise, I will link that video as well, dropping things. The outcome of that video was that I slightly preferred Lash Paradise because Total Temptation was kind of finicky and it took me a little while to get my lashes to look like they were separated. Here's the deal. A week later, once this has some air in it, it's beautiful. It's perfect. That sort of tacky, wet issue goes away, and you have a beautiful, beautiful mascara. So once I had some more time with this, I decided I like this better than this. Not going to buy this one anymore. I will buy this one some more. There's one downside to this one. Do you see how disgusting my packaging is? It's like this beautiful matte finish, but it takes fingerprints and junk, and you can't wash it off. I cannot get these marks off of it. So it looks disgusting and gross and cruddy and dirty and nasty, and I can't fix it. Like, I can't clean it. So that's a downside. It's a bummer, but I do thoroughly enjoy the mascara. I've now had 2 tubes of it, and, well, I didn't finish the first one. I traveled and lost it. But that's how I know that after about a week of being open, the tubes, it really does settle down and work really well, and you don't have a wet mess anymore. I have no trouble with this flaking for about 8 hours. After that point, it's hit or miss. Sometimes I'll get some flakes, sometimes I won't. That's the case with every drugstore mascara I have ever used, so I tolerate it because it's a nice price point, it's inexpensive, and it's beautiful. In second place is my old-time favorite, Urban Decay Perversion. I love a good volumizing mascara. These wands of all these look similar because my favorites are these kinds of wands. So this stuff I find gives you a gorgeous, gorgeous, dark, thick lash without transferring, without flaking. It wears all day and all night. It's beautiful. And my number one favorite is from Marc Jacobs. It's the Velvet Noir. And this stuff, it can't go wrong. Again, it looks almost the same as all the other ones. I just like this kind of wand. They work the best on my lashes. This stuff holds a curl better than most on me. It does not flake at all, no matter what I'm doing. It's gorgeous. You get volume. You get a little bit of length as well. It's a really pretty mascara, and it's number one. It's my fave. There you have it, my best of 2017 in the eye category. We've got one more day left of best of 2017. I've got one more video coming. It's going to be the lips and hair category. And I thank you guys for spending this week checking out my favorites all week long. If you have enjoyed this series, give me a thumbs up so I know to keep making them next year. And thanks a lot for taking some time out of your day to geek out over makeup with me. I appreciate it. I hope you guys will all give me a like. I hope you guys will all subscribe if you haven't already. Click that notification bell. I typically post 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern. This week, of course, I'm doing it all week long. The next video will go up tomorrow. So thanks a lot again, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Take care of each other. Bye-bye.